That's
Okay.
VUU.
Y'all did just win the
champion.
I'm gonna put my head down over there.
She
I'm from
BSU.
Virginia State, so I gotta
Let me tell you something.
stand
Shout
up.
out to J. Sergeant Reynolds Community College.
And that's a pathway. And that's a pathway. And
I want you to write the script for our book. Is gonna be the kid who ran for mayor.
Breaking news alert. This ready to be a ball right
Right.
Hey,
here.
everybody.
We're ready to have a ball.
about to have a good time real quick.
What's up, y'all? This is Brianna Moore, your host of the Conversations Unearthed podcast, where y'all come for me, but you stay for the guests. Y'all already know the guests keep getting bigger and bigger and better and better. Today, we have none other than former mayoral candidate Maurice Neblett. Maurice Neblett, if you don't know, you might want to know him. He is kind of sort of like me in where we kind of doing new things this year. I don't know if you've ever ran for mayor before. I've never interviewed a mayor candidate on the podcast, and this is also my first year having a podcast. But the portfolio, I mean, this guy has done it all. You know, this is a financial-based show. He is an investor. He is an entrepreneur. He has a diverse portfolio. He is an influential board member of a local federal credit union. He is a community organizer characterized by a hands-on approach by addressing urgent needs. I'm about to start rapping at this point. Let me tell you something. The way he ran his campaign for the first time running was nothing short of amazing. And I know that you did not get it this time, but it's all good because sometimes sometimes God's timing ain't our timing. You know what I'm saying? So I just thank you so much for coming on here, and we are super interested in giving people who are doing amazing things in Richmond, Virginia, their flowers. So thank you so much. That's my introduction, and I want to know if that sufficed for you.
Hey, listen, no one could have done it better.
Hey!
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
No, but thank you for just showing up for the community, honestly.
Yeah.
We need more representation, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How you doing today? We're gonna start off real light because the last couple of interviews they've been on you. So we want to make sure you just comfortable. How's your mental? What's going on? What you got going on?
Hey, look, it's been great. It's been great welcoming. I do appreciate y'all actually having me on the show, making adjustments also. So, I mean, it's been a great day. It's been productively busy. You would think, like, since the campaign is concluded, it would have died down, but it has not.
Yeah, I'm ready to say you.
You know, just being, getting back acclimated with business, and then also with the community engagement and a few issues that need to be addressed in the community. So it's a great day. It's a great day.
How was it? I'm jumping in quick with questions, but how was it like with your entrepreneurship and running for mayor? How was the balance there?
So, first of all, I know the point of business is to maximize profit, but I always put community first. Mm-hmm. So, ahead of that, under my business, I have a DBA, which I really do a lot of philanthropy work. So that has been the struggle for more than the business. That has been a struggle because I'm even candidates in other seats. They would say like, Maurice, hey, you got to make a decision. What you're doing. Because you running for office. Yeah. And I'm like, well, this is why I'm doing it. They are the reason why I'm running for office. Mm-hmm. So it was a tough pull, but the thing was just making sure that I stay with it. So I barely sleep, Yeah. So, I mean, that's the reality to it. I just stay, fresh, even though I may have not sleep for like maybe like 2-3 hours, if that.
Good
but just
Lord.
still being able to be able to
ready to say,
perform.
I think you said you got in the house at 3:00 in the morning.
Right,
last night. And you here.
Right.
That's so
you ain't
crazy.
slept since and you got somewhere to go in 30 minutes.
right.
You still on the campaign trail at this point. God dang.
Yes.
Well, let's kick it off. I do want to get into this. Is a financial based podcast, and I know we have a limited amount of time with you. So I just want to get into some fire round questions for you, just to loosen you up a little bit.
All right, thank you.
First of all, this question is mostly for me. It's a selfish question. Should the government forgive student loan debt?
Now, you know what? That's not a selfish question. I'm
not?
sure it's millions of people.
Yeah. We all want to figure out.
We all want to know.
Yeah. So, I believe now this is a financial podcast.
Yes, sir.
No, but say your real thoughts.
Yeah. So we're looking at understanding the dynamic of what the output was for these loans. from the government, you know, we still should have a return, right? Because that'll be catastrophic on, you know, with the budget, you know, and revenue.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I ultimately believe that we need to have at least like a 90%.
A 90% like deduction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to wipe them.
Deduction.
I agree.
Yeah, 90%.
I agree with that.
And you know, a lot of issues what I've saw over the years where, you know, when legislator introduced the debt to income ratio to include student loans, that kept people from being able to purchase homes. So that was another tactic of not being able to fulfill a home ownership and legacy.
Yep.
So in which that was still around the same time period where a lot of gentrification occurred as well.
I got you.
Yep.
Is universal... I'm sorry, wait. I don't want to ask that one. Should there be a wealth tax on billionaires?
I'll just
and I'm asking as a capitalist.
Now look, a wealth tax, you know, there just need to be a tax. You know, there just need to be a tax, just as everyone else.
Yeah.
When it comes to, you know, billionaires, you got to understand the history of how they became a billionaire, because now you started looking at how did it affect the history and the culture of certain ethnic groups.
Yeah.
See, now that's different.
That's different.
Now when we looking at what I say, when we looking at receiving compensation back for a lot of what our ancestors and what catastrophically what the end result is for us, now that's when we're looking at some financial obligation that should be put into a pot.
Yeah, I agree. Is cryptocurrency the future of money? The future of money?
Yeah, ultimately it is.
Ultimately,
okay.
You seen that Bitcoin hit 90K?
Listen, it is. We moving towards it. We know BRICS have already done it. BRICS. You know, if everyone know the British alliance with Russia and everyone, China. So they've already been doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So and it's been strong. The thing is, you know, how is that going to offset us in our currency? You know, when it comes to being able to say what is the weight of the dollar in America.
Yeah. Are you currently investing in crypto right now?
I do have some third party affiliations.
Okay.
Through crypto, I do.
Okay.
I got you. I like Bitcoin. I think anything else is a gamble.
Listen, Bitcoin is that's the big dog.
It's the blockchain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ethereum is pretty good. I used to have so I had cryptocurrency on a brokerage called Voyager, which went bankrupt. So,
which is a major concern.
Crypto is gone.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey,
that's high risk. But see, that's an example of what it could be for people that want to invest in it.
Right.
You know, ultimately, it's electronic currency. It can be controlled, stopped.
Yeah.
It can be deleted. You know. So that's the downside.
It is
of crypto.
Yeah.
As what they say that, you know, it could be in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
They, you know, surrounding the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
Right. So we just don't want to fall into a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But you know, we have to be conscious that, you know, there's vulnerabilities there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming from just from us reading your background, we saw that you were a ward of the state. And from listening to a few of your interviews, I heard that you chose to stay in foster care. And this kind of goes back to a question that my co-host Heather always asks is, what was your first relationship with money? And I'm not sure if these two things correlate, if that question and your background correlates, but I kind of want you to walk me through how you grew up as a child, what made you want to stay in foster care, and how has that contributed to who you are now as far as the entrepreneur and financial person you are now today?
Okay, great.
Because he came up in here looking sharp, y'all. Looking sharp. Let me tell you something, fresh out of GQ. And he's single. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, my first interaction with my life first. So, I remember, you know, as a child, I had to been like 5 or under. You know, I had the experience of being in foster care, right?
5 or under, that's...
Yeah, I don't know how it's a gift and a curse. Memory. So my experiences, I remember when I first was, you know, taken into foster care temporarily until I went, you know, with a family member. But the experience of foster care was a bad experience.
Okay.
So that's part of one reason why when I was in group homes, I stayed in group homes. I didn't go into foster care, even though I've had the opportunity to do it with people who are high caliber as well. They're high caliber. So, but I still decided to stay because I wanted to see out and sort out everything that I needed to acquire as someone who's going to be a person that serve. So, I just wanted to make sure that I had pure research and experience. But also I didn't want to face again that experience I had when I was very little. But there's abuse in foster care.
Yeah.
So, but I was fortunate enough to, to be pulled out of that home.
Okay.
And, I ended up going with a family member, which my grandmother ended up passing away. My mother passed away.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
I went from that family to an aunt, and then she passed away,
God,
So, So I lived out of a bag, that's it. Christmases and a lot of things I didn't really experience coming up. But what I started to find what was soothing, what was captivating was numbers. So I fell into numerology, and I started, really, even as a kid, trying to, and how, I don't even know why, to eliminate the deficit in the U.S., right? Because I saw where there was so much vulnerability. And if you know about the financial strains or connections that the U.S. has with certain organizations and families,
often. Yeah.
It'll show where it just put us more in a less freedom position. I'll say that. All right, so so I used to, do that calculation. Then it just fell into me like saying, oh wow, me being a mayor, whatever. And it was just like, that's a similar thing with us. Our deficit is like, if I'm not tracking it exact, but it has to be over $800 million in the city of Richmond. Right. So let's fact check that, y'all. We'll fact
check
it
it
back. We're gonna bring it back because I haven't looked at it in a few years.
Yeah.
But to project it from where it was going, I was just wanting to correlate that to say that I wanted to make sure that we didn't have those same issues of vulnerability in the city. But yeah. So like I say, what ended up happening, I ended up, eventually going into the group home.
Yeah.
And I just ultimately stayed because I felt that it was necessary for me to be able to pull through, to build my strength.
Yeah.
And to have opportunity because there were resources there.
Yeah.
And there was people that really, cared, that was on my team, that really fought for me. So
what stands out to me in this story is that it's a full circle moment because you had a group home. Like,
yes.
That was something that you
yes.
that you kind of added to the portfolio.
I told him I was going to do it. When I went into the group home, I said, hey, look, I'm here. I wanted to know what's going on so I could be able to help people, and I will have one day. I know they probably was looking like, but they saw me later and they was like, Maurice, you did everything you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
The power of the tongue.
How was that experience on being on the other side, owning your own?
It was great.
It was great
Because it was surreal because, it's about me being able to follow through for what I said I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So the scary thing for me when I was a child, I could see 5 to 10 to 15 years ahead, right? And that's the power in intuitiveness. And that was a gift my family had. My grandmother, who was an evangelist, had a covenant of the family. Have to shout out Teresita Neblett Coleman Neblett.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out grandma. So, the thing was that I saw it and it was something I kind of sometimes I moved away from because I'm like, what the world was so vivid. So I saw that I was going to do it. I saw that I was going to have it. And everything that I saw it and it happened. And that's part of me even running for mayor.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I mean, that's a pretty big jump though. Like you award of the state to mayor. What happened in between then besides like being into numbers? Matter of fact, when is your birthday?
July 21st.
What's that sign?
Cancer.
Ooh, those are my favorite people.
Yes.
That's my.
Are they really?
It's Cancer. Cancers are my favorite, and then Libras.
All right, so what is yours?
I'm a Taurus. So I'm a chameleon. I get along with anybody.
Listen, my father was a Taurus.
Okay.
Yes.
Shout out, Pops.
Yes.
I am none of these.
You're
I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn.
I don't know. I didn't know any Capricorns before I met you.
Yeah.
But you cool though. You cool.
Well,
You do.
People have their opinions about Capricorn.
People have their opinions. But
I think we're the best. But hey,
but what happened in between then? Like, was it therapy, like mandatory therapy that kind of helped you? Because I asked this because you could have went the other way.
Right.
yeah.
So,
right.
because you know what I'm saying, when you growing up here, you grew up in Richmond, right?
Right.
What part of town was it?
So look, as I tell everybody,
Disclaimer.
pick a side of town, I tell you where I live because I
Okay.
lived on each side of town.
Okay.
So-
okay.
So you can really represent the city.
Yeah.
Listen,
He good in
He's still coming back. Y'all stop
good
playing
in
with
every
him.
hood.
He's not done. He's not done with the work.
Hey, listen, because people be like, man, where you go? I said, yeah, I went over there. Like, man, you went where? I'm like, yeah. And then when I tell them, like,
Yeah.
I try to, get in and do what I need to do and move on because, like, when people see me, like, oh, hey, Maurice,
Yeah.
so I'm in the community in the area for a while.
So we talk about Wickham, Creighton, Blackwell,
Creighton, Fairfield, Blackwell,
Creighton, everywhere.
Raw Rock,
Broad Rock. You good everywhere.
Mosby,
Yeah.
like
been
everywhere.
everywhere.
You used to go see the Candy Lady?
Listen, when you
In
get
the-
the iceberg,
yeah, and the
yes,
iceberg
ma'am.
lady?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Shout out
The
to the
candy
Candy
lady
Lady.
with the iceberg, she had both.
I'm ready to say.
Yes,
So
yes.
like from there to now, like what happened in between? Was it, like I said, like I do want to touch on therapy. Did you have a therapist? Was that a part of your transition into adulthood?
So, within, being in the group homes, they had therapy.
Certain
Therapy. Yes, we
Okay.
had therapy. I wouldn't say that was the most effective. It was
I got
already
you.
done before I got there.
Okay.
God has, revealed to me, in Fairfield Court. In Fairfield Court, being a kid, I think it was 4th, 5th grade, live in your environment but don't become your environment.
There you go.
Right.
That's a quote. That one's getting clipped. You can go ahead and tell the team.
Okay. Maurice Neblett.
But that's true. That's that nature versus nurture argument too.
right,
Like, is it really
right.
about where you from, or is it really about like your circumstances or
Your mindset.
Your mindset, yeah.
And I lived circumstances that was far much worse than some of the guys
Yeah.
who committed murder that I know and
Woo.
selling drugs and
Yeah.
that I grew up with or been in the same area.
Right.
Right. So, and with them, they've seen me and they know how I am. They had to accept how I was. I was like kind of outcast from the beginning because I lived in so many areas. So, when you coming up in the 90s,
Always the new kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, new kid on the block, you
gotta
get
prove
knocked
yourself.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So thank goodness, I'm undefeated.
You said I could hold my own.
Right.
Hashtag he got them hands.
So, the thing is,
Don't play
like,
with him.
Don't play with him.
they had to learn to accept and respect who I am.
Right.
And, of course, peer pressure came about.
Yeah.
From the outside and even with family members.
Right.
But, I'm grateful to have stayed strong, to be able to live and wake up every day to say, I know I've conquered those small things, which would have been big things, ultimately, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you made it through a lot and you made it here. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And I always say too, like, this couch is so divine. Anybody that come here, I just feel like, well, for me, I'm a big believer in God. I'm a big believer in like divine timing. I'm a big believer in connections and affirmations. So like, I think that like you created me and I created you. I didn't know you were gonna be here when I was born, but like it was written for us.
Right.
So somehow your journey passed my journey, and that's why I'm always so grateful to anybody who comes and like blesses the couch, because it's gonna be good things coming to you. Everybody who's been on the couch
Wow.
then got something real good happen to them afterwards. So I'm not trying to take credit for nobody's success or nothing like that.
It was all
But
free.
it was already
No, but it was already written. It was definitely
it's already
God.
written.
In the basement. Nah.
Look, I had a Reiki practitioner come in. She said we could be out of here soon. We could be big like Tyler Perry. Okay, and you could come to the big studio in Atlanta. We could fly you out next time.
Hey, listen,
don't even worry
I'm
about
looking
it.
forward to
Yeah,
it.
don't even worry about it.
I want you to write the script for our book. Is gonna be The Kid Who Ran for Mayor.
Breaking news alert.
Let's do it.
Hey.
Let's do it.
So we go. You will
Look,
be able to
we
have it
already
on that.
had Philly Vegan up here. Sam.
Okay, Sam,
When he's
okay.
talking about his meals tax situation.
Yes.
I know you helped out with that.
Yes.
Was that the restaurant you were talking about?
Yes.
So you helped out with that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And
Full
they're strong.
circle.
And
What
they're
was your
strong-
contribution in that?
They're a strong organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
for sure.
they've been having commitment outside of the restaurant. See,
Yeah.
it started before the
Okay.
restaurant.
Okay.
You know, so with them, you know, giving back and feeding the community, you know, giving information. When I say feeding, I'm not just talking about what you put in your mouth.
Right.
Right. It's about, you know, the knowledge, you know, the love.
Yep.
And then they put it all in that food. So
Yes.
Philly Vegan, you know, over there in South Saddle, Hall Street.
Love them.
Yes. So, you know, the thing was that, you know, I'm as a community organizer and a community activist, you know, an issue is, or something that's being brought forth to me,
Right.
you know, I have to just come up with a solution or resolution to see it through and through. So with that, it is called for, you know, identify, you know, more so what the issue was, and then also wrap around into how, you know, what's going to be the best suited resolution to the conflict. So, yeah. So, and look, fearless.
Yeah.
You know, he went off. He snapped.
Indeed.
Hey, you know what? And he represented very well.
Yeah,
Yep.
he did.
He didn't only represent the restaurant. He didn't only represent business owners, but he represented people who feel that their voice isn't there. Right? So that's the importance of teamwork.
Yeah.
You know, that type of teamwork is very essential. So, yeah. So I like I told you before, someone said you're the chameleon. Who the chameleon? We in that same
we can kind of fit in, get in,
yeah. So I don't work population specific, you know, when it comes to, you know, community work, because I learned so early that all it takes is a little help to take someone far. As someone who was going through it. You know, but you know, the thing is, like, that's my passion, and that's what, you know, what drives me every day.
Well, that's interesting too, because you weren't even running. Well, were you running?
I wasn't.
You wasn't. So how did you even get word of that? Were you working within the city hall thing, or I don't know what's going on.
Well, I
don't know how you even got in that.
So because it was brought forth to me.
It was brought forth to you. Okay.
You know,
Here's an opportunity. We would like to see you.
So from ground level.
Okay.
To help from ground level to them. That's where I, you know, as a community organizer outside of that, being a liaison between people and government. That's how that came about.
I like it. Gotcha. So take me back a bit. I saw HBCU graduate, Virginia Union.
Yes.
Y'all
VUU,
did just win the
champions.
I'm gonna put my head down on
She
I'm from Virginia State, so I gotta
let me tell you something.
Congratulations.
We went to both homecomings, Virginia State and Virginia Union. I tell her all the time, Virginia Unions was lit. More lit than Virginia State. I don't know if you was out there. Virginia Union was,
this was my first time. I'll give y'all flowers. This was my
smaller.
first time going to Union's homecoming. It was lit.
I had a good time.
From a Trojan alumni. I had a good time.
Listen,
that's all I can
appreciate
say.
that. That's big though, because before I even went to college, I've been there to VSU's homecomings, and they was lit.
Legendary.
So for us to get it,
I did not say that y'all was better than mine. That was from her perspective. Let me be very clear to the community. My homecoming was much better. I enjoyed myself. However,
because your people was there though. Your people, she knew everybody coming up to her, hugging everything. At Virginia, I didn't know nobody and still have a good time.
Union homecoming, I had a good time. I wasn't expecting for me to have the time that I had, so I'm pleased. I'll go back again.
Listen, you know, hey.
Forever a Trojan.
For all those who haven't decided on what college they wanted to attend, please, Virginia Union University. Yes, it's a private institution and it's Christian based, so it's family and love. That's probably what you felt.
Oh,
what you felt?
I will just say, because this is a great podcast, and I'm not gonna slam nobody. I will just say, let's promote education.
Yes.
If you are in Virginia and you want to go to a Virginia school, HBCUs all day. Stand up.
Shout out to J. Sergeant Reynolds Community College.
And that's a pathway. And that is a pathway. And it's cheaper to go to a community college, do those 2 years, and then go take the rest of your classes. So I'm not mad at that route either.
I'm Maurice Neblett, and I approve this message.
I love it. Okay.
So I did attend J. Sergeant Reynolds as well, business administration.
Okay. Love it.
And then Virginia Union for Criminology and Criminal Justice.
So walk me through the path. We're a Virginia Union student. We graduate. I heard the entrepreneurship, and now we're a mayor. How did we go from being a student at Virginia Union to where we are today?
So, all right. So even Virginia Union University, I still was working at BJ's Wholesale Club. If you want wholesale BJ's,
The shout out.
We about to get paid on this show.
Yeah, we need to get those endorsements rolling in. So, you know, I was working full time. Still going to school full time. Actually, over full time. I was taking more than 12 credits. So the thing was like, I left and I was like, dang, I need to come up because I've been going through the struggle for a while in college.
It's time.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and transition business, into private security because that's one of my plans, but I've already foresaw it. So yes, private security. So I ended up doing it. I thought about it when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and being able to actually have that paperwork and being able to complete it to meet the requirements was felt great because I had that paperwork when I was 15, and I was like, I don't think I ever would get this because of the requirements that it had on there. But I was a kid, so I rolled over into business from community organizing as a team. I was doing parties, having engagements, events. I say that. So I transitioned over into that lane, and I started providing services in the community. Try to bring some skills into the residential area. So it's not anything specific, when it comes to security. So we running from physical security, running from electronic security, access control systems and stuff like that. So, and then roadside assistance, I rolled over into that, and then consulting, which made me just say, you know what, let me just ramp up even more with the community organizing.
Consulting in security services, or
so I could generalize consulting.
Okay.
So I'm someone who, I tell you this, as a kid, I didn't really watch cartoons. I used to watch something called Person of Interest. Check it out. That was
Is it still on? We can still find it right now?
You can find
Where
it.
you can
It's
find
on Netflix and Prime.
Is it kind of like Criminal Minds? No.
It give you that feel when it
Criminal
come
Minds is
on.
my favorite show. I'm gonna have to check out Person of Interest.
Yeah, Person of Interest. That give you a lot of the background, understanding like what fueled me and what direction that went. So that'll be some as good reference for a follow up. So I still was working. I went into some security. I worked two full-time jobs, and then I was already debuting with the business. So working 2 full-time jobs, debuting with the business. I just stayed focused. Started the group home because it took funds and capital to be able to make that happen. Yeah. So started that, and then
it wasn't a nonprofit, right?
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. So through all this time, I've been doing nonprofit work.
Okay.
But I just didn't have the filings for it because I haven't stopped to be able to file those, which I need to. I'm going to get that sorted out. So
okay.
Hopefully they'll take hold of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So so I moved from that having the business that I previously mentioned, and then the group home.
Okay.
Right. Hit my first client, and then boom, family emergency. I had to take care of that, and it was during the pandemic, so nobody wanted to work, and barely now. So I ended up having to make a decision, and it was just for me to shut it down.
You didn't want to go in there yourself and get the medications?
Oh, no, I was doing that.
You was doing that?
I was doing that, giving the medications. I had my crisis. So I did all my training and everything while I was still working those full-time jobs.
Okay.
So I was able to get that done very, very fast because I'm just kind of like high caliber.
You got it.
Just
so you didn't have like a social work degree or anything?
I didn't.
Before you did that? Okay.
I didn't. And
that's what's up.
I could have went for anything. Of course we know that. Yeah. But it was just a thing of saying, okay, well, let me do this because I guess I have to show that I'm capable by obtaining a degree. I didn't necessarily need it.
I mean, that's a lucrative business, the group homes. I mean,
the group homes. I mean, the security company. I mean,
and with that, you had to have real estate. And I know we had 6:20, so we got about 10 minutes left. Did you purchase the house that you were using the group home for, or was it rented?
So at the time, there was a crazy market.
Okay.
It was.
Wait, what year was this?
This was 2019, 2020.
Yeah. Oh,
so
okay.
December I finished up. I think I probably rolled over into 2020 when I started. So no, I didn't purchase.
Okay.
I was in the midst of it, and it was a bidding war. I mean, I'm talking about a house that was $200,000 or $250,000. Who was bidding up at $350,000?
You said 2018, 19?
No, 2019, 2020.
So that was during COVID. So that's when interest rates was like 2%.
Yeah, well, then it shot up going at the end of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I know I finished up 2019, some of my paperwork. We went through 2020. So it's like probably tail end of 2020.
Okay.
Going into when interest rates, which interest rates were good. It started shooting. It started shooting. Interest rates were good, and it started going crazy. Especially when people start bidding up on them homes
and this was a multifamily property or a
it was multi. It was multi.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a big property.
How much is sold for?
I think they ended up selling for $300, and then I didn't end up getting it, finish it because of they was like, oh well, they double back and say, well, what about your student loans? I said, well, you already know about my student loans. Oh, they were like, well, we need to figure out how much would it be. I mean, like, well, this is what I'm paying now. So I was just, you know what, y'all, forget it. Don't even worry about it. I said, don't even worry about it. It was October. Man. I think it was October 2020. And I was like, don't even worry about it, because I had so much going on during that time. And I kind of feel like I should have kind of held off on it because later we saw that Navy Federal was having issues with providing loans to certain people. So anyway, but yeah.
Will you get back into owning another group home?
I'm definitely looking at it. I still have my policies though. With BDHDS, some things change with the policy, so I may have to make some adjustments to it. But I am looking to do that.
Your journey is not over.
Oh, it's not over.
Absolutely.
It's just a reset. So I'm going to set priorities, for the other services that I'm providing in mental health. And then I want to make sure that we have a solid stability for the individuals that's going to be in the group home because, regardless of how the economy goes, we need to be able to sustain to make sure that people aren't displaced.
Okay. What's next for you?
So what's next? Look, I had to jump back into community work.
Absolutely.
That doesn't stop. It's about from the ground up. So I want to make sure that, I continue to work and, have commitment, that's going to radiate throughout the city. But, always still network.
Yeah,
make sure that we bring in people still signing up through the campaign page to volunteer.
Yep.
They say, hey, Maurice, what's next?
Because we know it's not over.
It's definitely not over. But yeah, they want to, continue to work. So
I mean, you done made your mark now. You can't go nowhere.
Yeah, you can't give up now.
Listen. We got to get engaged. We got to stay engaged. We got to tell a friend to tell a friend because that's part of the problem too. Not enough people are engaged to voting. Yeah. With understanding politics as usual has turned them off.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So I mean, let's keep it real. What I'm looking to give is rare. It's the rarity. It's rare to what politics, has always been given. Yeah. So when I speak to someone and they be like, oh man, a lot of people got engaged into politics that weren't before. Yeah. Just because they say, oh dang, well I know this guy. They say I never knew anybody from the city that have actually ran. Yeah. Shout out to Doug Wilder.
Shout out to Doug Wilder.
Oh, yes. Man, he's the other who was from Richmond who actually ran. So I would be the only other one.
It's happening. Don't give up. So less than 30-second clip. What do you want the people to do in between this time of there's not an election happening right now? How can people still show up in the communities?
Hey, look, first of all, stay tuned in, stay engaged to this podcast because it's always going to be something that you want to hear, need to hear, and you have to hear. So that's first and foremost because y'all bringing, real issues to the forefront for discussion. Another thing is Richmond Crusade for Voters. Join membership. Go to richmondcrusade.org and, look at seeing how you can join a membership. It's $25 to join. It's very important to do it now. It is our time. We can shape, Richmond to how we want it to be, how we need it to be. Yeah. So it's like we can't continue to allow people who don't have the connection, who don't know, really how it is to make those decisions because it's not going to be as effective, than it is coming from us being able to make those changes, stepping up and doing what we need to do in the community. So
cool.
Yep. I love it.
And how we usually end this off is I done added a few things, but we usually end it off with our favorite quote. But I done added 2 other things. So I want to know your favorite quote, what book you're reading, and then a random fun fact.
Oh, wow.
I'll go first. So the book that I'm reading right now, he said, thank you. The book that I'm reading right now because I'm obsessed with sororities and fraternities is called The Divine Nine by Lawrence C. Ross. The book, no, my quote. What is my favorite quote? I'm going to have to go back to Old Faithful because I don't got one.
I'm prepared.
I had to go back to, okay,
I'm
you
prepped
prepared
today. It wasn't even supposed to be here.
Okay. All right. Well, my favorite quote is by Dr. Seuss, and it is, "You have to be odd to be number one." And fun fact, I don't even know. A fun fact about me is probably I drink Red Bull during or before every episode. Not good for you. But,
Right, yeah, we gotta get something else.
but we take endorsements over here at Conversations Unearthed. So anybody who's affiliated with Red Bull, tell them to hit us up.
There we go. All right, so the book that I'm reading right now is Good Vibes, Good Life, How Self-Love is the Key to Unlocking Your Greatness by Vex King. My fun fact for today is honey never spoils. Archaeologists found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that were over 3,000 years old and still edible.
Wow.
Crazy.
Who eating that?
I mean, I'm not. I just wanted the people to know.
Right. Did they know? Did they taste it? I guess it didn't have mold on it or anything.
Yeah.
So they were like, give it to Kroger.
Give it. Oh, wow.
Give it to BJ's.
Publix might have took it.
Right.
And then my quote for today is a Bible verse, Isaiah 22:22. God will open doors for you that no one can shut.
Oh, I love
Hallelujah.
that. Okay, I got you.
Amen.
Wow, that's very true. That's very true.
Amen.
Wow. So I have a lot of books that I was actually starting to read before this campaign. Haven't finished some things, but what I'll mention, which is important, is Critical Thinking by Virginia O'Keeffe. You know, I love the aspect that it touches on the different teaching style, you know, and also how, you know, a child may not, you know, be able to reciprocate, and how, you know, the children need, you know, to be able to comprehend, to be able to communicate in our school systems, but we need to take a different approach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So a fun fact about me, which may not be a fun fact, I am a vegan.
Okay.
You know? Yes,
Okay.
come on. Yes. I have the spots. I do have a list.
You got all the lists.
Yes, I
okay,
do.
we're dropping the list. We're gonna drop the list.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So another thing is and I have a couple. And this is out of the Bible, and these short parts of the scriptures. Faith without work is dead.
I'm telling you.
That came in my mind when I was driving up here.
Come
I'm
on.
about to talk to you.
Come
That
on.
came in my
just
mind.
saying.
That's crazy.
You gotta do the work. You gotta put in the work.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
Oh.
And it's nothing impossible. So the thing is, like, I hope that I display and being of great representation. Because it's not about me. It's about all of us. You know, being able to make sure that we have the discussions. And we've actually affected change without being in the seat. It goes beyond the ballot
It does.
box.
Oh my
You know,
God.
this work that we need, it has to continue.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is, like, it's going to take for us to be able to unite, you know, get together and look at this to be more of a strength, of more of the power, because I understood and I know that the power is in the vote. The power is in the people.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, when people recognize that, then we'll be able to make a bigger effect and change in the community.
Sure. You gotta show up, you guys.
Yes, you got to show up and show out.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. This is your first time, but hopefully will not be your last at the Conversations Unearthed studio. We love you. Thank you so much again for showing up. Have a good meeting tonight, and we gonna wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and we are out.
Goodbye,
Peace.
y'all.
Peace.
Done.
That's sweet.
Hey.
How was that?
That was good.